character.
This is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them. Go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Down clock in. Down clock in. Clock shit. Down clock in. Clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See my defense.
All right, folks. You know what it looks like right now, man. We're only streaming to YouTube. They blocked my account.
And we knew that was coming.
They blocked my account for too much activity, they said. I don't know what that means. You have been temporarily blocked from performing this action, which is posting to Facebook.
Yeah. They're getting sneaky, dog, because we're coming through StreamYard. They're trying to block everything cannabis they can. You know what I mean? Especially on the little guys. You know what I mean?
That's killing me.
It's going to come, Dave. Like Sam Cooke said, one day a change going to come.
Oh man, Bobby McLean, what's going on, man? Glad you could join up. I don't really know how many people we're going to get on the view right now, specifically because we're only going directly to YouTube. But
need people who watching on YouTube to share in the Facebook. Go share the live link on YouTube in the OAT and say they're only live on YouTube. Get on, man. That's easy. Appreciate that.
100%, man. All right, well, shit, let's get it started, man. BG, what's going on, man?
Man, glad we got them technical difficulties out of the way. I have my inbox already blowing up. So shout out to Sarah Gang over there. She was checking on us. But yeah, man, it's a good day, man. It's a good day in the hood, man. You know what I mean?
100%, man. Feeling good today. I don't know. Could be a lot of reasons.
How about you, man? How you feeling over there?
Man. I'm good, man. I'm feeling a little bit of the tension of what I'm in the middle of right now, but it's still doing what I need to do, man, which is, again, kind of checking myself here.
Hang in there, man. Hang in there. We're watching. We're supporting you. You know what I'm saying? We're cheering you on. We're going to talk about it today. So who we got jumping up on there with us? Where's our early adopters at online?
Unfortunately, it looks like Bobby McLean is the
Bobby is the early adopter. Bobby, shout out Bobby for always supporting, man. Thank you, Bobby.
I will go right now. I'm going to go drop this right now in OAT.
That's why, yeah. Normally, folks are looking for us, and that's good. Maybe this is the shift we needed. You know what? Fuck it. We're all on YouTube now. I'm on YouTube, but I'm not. But I am. You know what I mean? So let's do it.
All right, we got that one in OAT.
That might be easier for you on the back end, technical wise, too. Just going straight to YouTube, huh?
I'm telling you, man, there is absolutely, I can't say, I don't want to say anything bad right now, but I can't come up with anything good to say about Facebook, man. They've just been kicking me in the nuts.
No, they know that Sam Cooke song's coming, baby. A change gonna come. Like I said, in the next 36 months, man, they see they see the writing on the wall, man, and the Facebook goons is mad about the shit. Cause once you think they open it up and everybody can post about weed, boy, Facebook gonna be face weed.
That's the truth, man. That seems to be a pretty palpable fear from them right now. But just like anything else, man, they should be figuring out how they can, monetize it. Dude, shit, I'm able to boost all my posts on the other podcast I got going on. I can't do anything with this.
They blocking this. They got bigger fish to fry, bro. Like I said, we're small fry. You know what I mean? We're easy for them to apply pressure to. We're like low hanging fruit. These bigger pages that are verified that are cannabis on Facebook. It's all about who you know in the zoo. You know what I mean? So we're going to get there. So guys like Bobby been hanging around, man. Man, that's what's up, man. The folks that's hanging around with us here early, because I guarantee you in the next 12 months, it's going to be looking a lot different around here in Square Groupers, man. So fuck it. I'm glad we made the move today on Inauguration Day on YouTube strictly.
Yeah, we might have to just do that from here on out. We'll let everybody know in OAT. At the very least, what I can do is what I just did right now. We just go right to YouTube and then just put the links into OAT in my place, and then that way they can't do anything about it.
Hey man, that's gang. That's what we need. The gang. You guys that are bought in on Patreon, special double Patreon, the gang double guys. Please share. You know what I mean? We need you guys. This is how we're going to grow this thing now. So we got to narrow down. We ain't got to worry about the Facebook technical difficulties. We'll just wait till they come online and just focus here on YouTube. You know what I mean? I need a new reason to be back on YouTube anyway.
All right. Well, since you heard that, everybody who happens to be watching this right now, whether you're watching it through the secondary on Facebook, through YouTube, go to YouTube, create an account, It doesn't need to be anything pretty. Whatever you need to do, it's free. Go ahead and sign up over there, and then we'll all be able to hook up. Whether we can go to Facebook or not, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like BG was just saying, man, they're not on board right now, but when they get on board, believe me, they'll be putting the red carpet out for us, because we've been doing this for a long time. People like Jim Belushi, who even have a dispensary, are getting ghost blocked, or whatever they call it, ghost banned on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all these places. And it's because it's just cannabis content. They don't want to mess with it.
Yeah, you got to be tricky, man. I mean, you got to know the rules of the game. And a lot of folks, they're like, man, I even got a couple patrons that jump ship. Folks are probably, trying times, or folks ain't looking for enough content. But look, man, I mean, I'm all in on this weed game, especially for veterans. Like I posted, on Facebook, if you follow me there, if you're friends with me, one day soon, very soon, for veterans, we're going to have a time. We're going to go into the VA and be able to get prescribed medical cannabis. And that's going to be a great segue to lead into what we're talking about here today on Bob's End out there in Denver, because he's going through a little experiment of his own that I think he's going to share with us. But man, veterans, you gotta stay plugged in, man. And that's why I stay writing over there. Well, when I do write, it'll be back up. I'll get back on it this weekend, but back in the saddle, baby. It's time to go, man, all the way around. You see all the games, man. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise. We'll just focus strictly here on YouTube now.
I'm down with it, man. Bobby Mack, thanks for showing up as always. Andrew Pace, thanks so much, man. Hey, shout out to Andrew, aka Merc, for buying a water bottle on my eBay. As soon as I dropped some prices down, I started realizing that things were, just because I paid a lot doesn't mean everybody else has to pay a lot. So make sure I get some of that, all the merchandise out to you on a little bit of a cheaper scale. So thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate it. I'm going to get that in the mail tomorrow maybe, but it should get out to you pretty quickly. Simon showing up again. What is up, Simon? How you doing, my brother? Good to see you as always. And yeah, I'm thinking this might just have to be the deal. I don't necessarily know what it means for some of the other things I got going on, but I think I should probably be okay in the next couple of days. They'll get back to things going, and they'll let us get back to Facebook. But that's just for the simple fact that I'm doing a couple things with one particular profile name. That seems real weird, man. I don't understand how that could be suspicious activity, but I did boost a post. I did attach a PayPal account, or use a PayPal account to pay for the boost. So maybe, and that actually, I think is what got me.
I mean, on the outside looking in, bro, you look like a creator who's figured out a couple of angles how to get some money up out of the weed game, but maybe you're just pushing content and product, like your actual shirt product stuff. So I don't know, man. It's tricky, but like I said, I'm not mad at all, bro. I mean, fuck Facebook to begin with. We're on YouTube. I mean, wherever they're gonna host us at, you know what I mean? Let's go, YouTube.
Well, since you mentioned it earlier, I'd spoken to a couple people about this and let them know exactly what's going on with me. I've got some personal things going on with the family and stuff like that, and I've just been noticing over the course of the last couple months, honestly, that I'm spending a lot of money on cannabis. A lot of money could be a subjective term, but more than I want to spend, which means I'm smoking a lot more, and really, it has everything to do with the fact that I'm home a lot more because of the whole COVID thing, and it's just like anything else. When you got some good cannabis next to you and you're bored, you got nothing going on, why not roll a joint? I was just saying that to myself about 10 times a day. So I'm not saying that the cannabis was getting to be an issue for me. I'm going on a big tolerance break right now. I haven't smoked cannabis since Sunday right now at all. And only CBD. I've only taken CBD at night. And that's really been a struggle for me. So one thing I have noticed is because of my hyperactivity, because of the fact that my mind's always running, going to sleep at night without smoking cannabis is a freaking problem. It's been a tough deal for me. But what I've been noticing during the day, I've got a lot more energy. My mind seems to be focusing a lot more. I don't feel like I'm pushing through my shifts at work. I'm actually working them and things like that. So there's been some positive things, but that's not to say that I'm not going to smoke cannabis ever again. Hell no. Friday at 5 o'clock, you better believe I'm going to be lit. It's just a matter of me trying to get back to that point that I was many, many years ago, where I could smoke a couple bowls and induce a little bit of cannabis and get the feeling that I want right away without having to continuously do it all day long, therefore messing up my tolerance. And so I'm right back smack dab in the middle of this tolerance break right now. And it's been doing good things for me, man. I'm feeling good from it. Again, I'm not going to stop smoking. I just did it voluntarily for about 6 days is what I'm going for, just to get my body back down to the level where I don't have to smoke so much.
Mm-hmm. And like, so basically what you're saying, you're seeing slight improvements. What drawbacks are you seeing? Are there anything that's really like one particular thing that's really getting on your nerves, like you're twitching or something? I don't know. You know what I mean?
You know, I do notice. I've noticed one thing, and that is really more on the smoking the cannabis side is when you're smoking and you're high. You're obviously feeling the effects of this. There's a lot of things that happen to you. You sort of stop really kind of. I don't want to say caring, but there's an apathy factor with cannabis, and a lot of people don't want to talk about this. It's the reason why I don't think kids in junior high school should be smoking a lot of cannabis. Those are formative years for your brain. And when you're stricken with that apathy problem, which is what cannabis does, whether you're smoking sativa or indica, doesn't matter. Don't fall for the indica give you energy or sativa gives you energy. Indica doesn't. It doesn't work that way. It's just you get less tired smoking indica or smoking sativas than you would indica. And those two terms are actually gone at this point. But I just started noticing that I was more impulsive when I smoked. So it was easy for me to be like, fuck it, DoorDash. I'm going to get 3 burgers, 2 shakes, and I'm started eating and I've got stomach problems. It was causing a lot of issues with my stomach. And I've noticed I haven't had issues in almost 4 days with any of it. Twitching, little things like that, not necessarily, but I do when I'm asleep or I'm trying to sleep at night, man, I'm just looking at the inside of my eyelids, man, for hours. I went to bed last night, I think about 10. By going to bed, I mean, I actually got into my bed at 10. I don't think I fell asleep till 4 a.m. Dang. I just kept, wide awake, bro. Like I can
relate, man. Sometimes 2-3 hours, I'm there right there with you. Even if I do smoke and I go there and it's just like, here we go,
Yeah. And I just noticed that it's the things that a lot of people don't talk about. Our good friend and M-Dub McMook, how, he's been trying he said he's been trying to lose a little bit of weight. He's trying to get back into the gym, and cannabis is sort of a wall for that. And now this is a very personal thing. What I'm trying to say is that it's going to affect everybody differently. I know plenty of people who go to the gym high, smoke at the gym, smoke when they leave the gym.
The professional boxing fight high.
Right. Mike Tyson high. There's a lot of different ways people can do these. I just, my friend found out that if he continues to smoke cannabis, he's probably not going to lose a lot of weight because he's not going to hit the gym a lot. So he's the one that kind of started talking to me about this and getting it in my head, not even telling me to take a tolerance break, just saying, hey, imagine what it would be like if you could smoke a bowl and get lit off of it and not have to worry about smoking for another 5 hours. I'd be like, damn, that would be great. He's like, why don't you take a little break? So I decided to do it. There's been times in my life where I involuntarily took this break, but that's a completely different animal. Going out of town or being someplace where you can't have access to cannabis. Yeah, and it still does the same. The effect is still the same. But in order for me to see that all the stuff that I've been hearing that's in the back of my head, it's a habit, it's an addictive thing. I knew all that shit was bullshit. I think I just needed a new reset in my life to find it all out, because there's absolutely I'm not having any sort of,
man, fuck all that. What strain you gonna smoke on Friday? Let's talk about that, man. You know what I mean? I got a couple strains here. I'm BG the bad guy. I know you're on your hiatus. I was on an involuntary hiatus there at Disneyland. Y'all heard me talk about that. So I'm praying for you. I just want to know, what the fuck are you gonna smoke on Friday when you do?
Well, that's a great question. I'm actually drowning in cannabis. I've got at least an ounce in this house, and it's I think it's about 8 different eighths.
Now that takes strength to have cannabis in your house and be on a damn, you're not smoking for a week and have discipline. That takes discipline, man. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that, man. And that's another thing I wanted to get in here too, is like, can I do it? Can I voluntarily do it? Can I not? I can act like I'm cool to everybody else, but when I look at myself in the mirror, am I looking at myself and saying, you're good? Because if not, then that's a problem. But I am waking up every day going, hey man, you're good. You can do this, man. It's not a matter of an addiction. It's a matter of you trying to. The tolerance break was for you is exactly what it's called, a tolerance.
It's just like they tinker with the veterans at the VA and the pills. Oh, that candy didn't work. Try the egg. They literally call pills candy. Here, try this. Wouldn't you get some new candy in? Like, y'all at the fucking candy store. I need some purples, yellows, and a couple of them orange. No, fuck the orange ones. The black ones. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's the truth, man. I've noticed a lot of good stuff from it. The other, like I said, the only thing that I've noticed negative is the fact that I can't really go to sleep very well. And my wife's like, hey, why don't you just smoke before you go to bed? I'm like, I will, starting Friday.
That's first thing when I went to the psych ward for 3 days and they put me on this shit called gabapentin that tried to help me go to sleep. And I just couldn't go to sleep. I was just dizzy in my fucking head. Like, what is this shit they got me on? Like, I can't even go to sleep. Like, this is funny. Like, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
That happens to be, that's a neuropathy treatment. Holy shit. All right. Well, that's, doesn't seem like something that they would put you on to go to sleep, but hell, I guess that is.
I don't know. I mean, they, when you're a veteran, you just go in there and they take, you don't know shit unless you don't know shit. And, I think I still got a bottle in the drawer up there somewhere to steal some pills in that bitch.
aminomethyl cyclohexaclodone. All right. Well, you know what? I feel like that actually probably would make you go to sleep a little bit. Why wouldn't they just give you something else? But again, that's kind of a problem, don't you think? It's like, oh, you can't go to sleep? Take this. That's not great.
Well, I think a lot of that too is I need to tweak in, like what we talked about before getting on the show, is diet, and then also, incorporating exercise. If you don't exercise at least a few times a week, I mean, damn. You know what I mean? I get plenty of exercise with my kids because I'm throwing them around the house or doing this or that. But like going to an actual physical workout in the gym or here in the house or wherever you can, you know what I mean? So I think incorporating the diet along with that stuff, it's all a journey, bro. You know what I mean? And we're on some shit nobody's ever really talked about incorporating cannabis into their diet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we might be blazing a trail here. See what I did there.
And I was see what we always doing here. Yeah. I mentioned that to you earlier off air that that's kind of something I've been doing too. But I think that it's just kind of good to kind of reset everything. So that's why I did it. Simon's telling me melatonin works for some people. That's actually a good point. That's something I could be taking along with CBD, because what I was doing was taking my CBD in the morning after I woke up. And, I don't really know if that was helping me, because it probably made me a little bit calmer. It didn't make me tired, but it probably calmed me down a little bit, which is cool. But I took it last night before I went to bed instead of taking it in the morning. And it didn't really help me go to sleep, as you just heard me say. So it really is just a matter of the CBD being something that's going to be helping you from the inside out. Don't lean on it too much for sleep therapy. I think that it can work for a lot of people. For me, it doesn't necessarily hit me in the head and make me go to bed. I need something to put me out.
Yeah,
because that's just my brain. It keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. That's the way it is.
Well, I think a lot of that too, when you diet right and you work out and, you break a sweat, 30 minutes, get that heart rate up and, shower, wash your ass for you. All that stuff really counts. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing is we've been on quarantine so long. We've been in a routine, out of a routine, fucking lost, looking for a routine, wandering around, don't know, in the dark. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? So, the fact that we're still here and we're talking about it, you know what I mean? And continuing to try some new things. That's what I think it's all about, is not staying the same. That's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same shit, expecting a different result.
Definitely. Simon's asking, what about drug testing? How does that affect my motivation to quit consuming? It does not affect me whatsoever. I've been in food service since I was 13, and they don't drug test you in food service, because if they did, there would be no food to serve. No. That's the way that goes. Everybody in the food service industry does something to get de-stressed, because it's such a high stress industry. So
well, I'm gonna try these cement shoes today. You know what I mean? I got some cement shoes, and I got some lemon birthday cake from Solar Gold, the brand that's up here out of Washington State. So I've never had neither one of these. So I'm gonna do an unpack today on this. I know you're doing your hiatus over there, but I mean, it is called Square Groupers. We do kind of talk about weed here, so somebody got to keep the fire lit. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Please do. I want to see. I'm actually Googling that right now so we can give some information to people watching right now.
Yeah, Solar Gold has been a brand that, if you follow me back on my page before they blocked it on, Coffee and Blunts, I always had some Solar Gold. I was trying their different strains. They got a lot of hybrids. That's been a thing too with the quarantine. You know what I mean? Is your favorite strains will disappear because everybody buys them, and then based on logistics and everything else going on, what we talked about, that barcode from seed to the counter or whatever that term is. You know what I mean? So you got to constantly be trying new stuff. You know what I mean? And I actually tried some indica. You know what I mean? Bob's real, big on the indica. And that definitely stoned me and got me less motivated and got me to eat more and being, like watching Netflix.
Yeah.
But I realized, damn, I need these hybrids, because I was on sativa and hybrid, and that's been kind of a journey for me too. And it's figuring out what's best, what kind of best medication your body, what kind of, outcome are you trying to get? Are you trying to be productive, or are you just trying to Netflix and chill? I mean, you got to have a plan when you want to approach cannabis. So we're going to see what this Cement Shoes is about.
Cement Shoes is a rare, slightly indica dominant hybrid strain, 60/40, created through a cross of Animal Cookies, OG Kush Breath, and Wet Dream. Wet Dream, I believe, is Blue Dream and Ocean Haze, I think is what that is. I know that off the back of my head, but Cement Shoes is totally the medicine for couch lock and immovable for hours on end.
Yeah.
The physical
I guess they got me with the term hybrid, because I was over there, like I said, again, logistics and looking for your favorite brand, and they're trying to find you something, because normally I'm buying an ounce and I'm like, they're bringing me 2 halves, and I'm trying to piece it up, which, basically I got it for a good price, being a medical card holder and having points, at your dispensary. What would have been clearly over $200, I paid less than $150 for an ounce. So
That's what's
but I didn't know. I'm glad you did that research now, because I know. Okay, now I know what to expect. I'm being stuck here for a minute.
That's kind of what I got out of it. When I saw the name of it, I was like, all right, you're not going anywhere. You're just going to be sitting in the same place, because that's what cement.
Well, maybe that's why they call the shit cement cookies. And my dumb ass just should have probably figured that out.
Yeah, well, cement shoes is, something my Italian heritage knows a lot about. And I was hoping that it wouldn't do to you what cement shoes does to you, which is put you at the bottom of a river so you don't rat anymore. But really what this is just keeping you in one place. So I think they're kind of locking onto the couch lock version of this, but it's a 60-40, so you don't have to worry about it so much what they're saying. It's probably just a little bit more of an indica than you might have thought. That's all.
I mean, it smells good. I mean, it's not too, you can't really, it's not too, it's not like a Instagram photo. Oh, look at this nugget.
What's it smell?
It smells pretty good. I mean, it's pretty soft. It's breaking up pretty good. So hopefully it burns better. We'll see.
What's the flavor you're getting from it?
Really, I mean, bro, I'm telling you, all weed smells the same to me, man. You know me. I mean, it smells like, damn, that smells like a good weed. And then it's
right.
That smells like a good weed too, but it's a different weed. So, I mean, I'm not even at that level yet. And like we always talk about, you guys being able to taste the terpenes. And like, I'm so rookie at this shit. Like, that's why I'm glad to stick around here with folks that know what they're talking about, so you can help me get through this. Yeah,
matter of fact, it's fun. It's good that you mentioned that, because terpene profiles are actually where the cannabis industry is moving towards. I know that I've mentioned it a lot. There's going to be a lot of places that you go, dispensaries, that will no longer call their strains sativa, indica, or hybrid. They'll go with amplify, relax, calm, just basically descriptive words for what the effects are, as opposed to calling it, because it's not going to be about that. There's been so much breeding that you really aren't going to find yourself 100% indica, 100% sativa, because there's just so much crossbreeding. Unless you can do what I did and go right back to a source where you can get the seeds for that and grow them. The cannabis that you're getting in the industry has been bred out in many, many different ways. So at some point, it's just going to be terpene profile. So is it the kind that you like that tastes like pine, or do you like the kind that tastes like fruit? And the profiles of the flavors are really where I think the descriptors are going to be, really is where it's going right now. And I've been seeing it a lot more, and that's okay, because that's really what forces you to learn about the strains. So if someone can tell you, all right, this bud is called Amplify, that's great. What's the lineage of it? Well, it's Blue Dream and G13. Okay, cool. That's all I needed to know. You know what I mean? Like, Let me get past your bullshit. Tell me what the strains are, and I know for a fact what those two strains do to my body. So the reason you called them Amplify might be completely different than the effect that I'm going to get from the actual bud. So
I'm so glad you know that shit, because I wouldn't even be motivated to look that shit up.
I've always been the kind of person who didn't like getting taken advantage of. It's something in Miami growing up where you always had to keep your, eyes on the back of your head, because no matter what, someone was going to try to catch you slipping. And that could be anything from you leaving your shoes at the basketball court or some shit, all the way up to you leaving a gun in your glove compartment or something. It's always about catching somebody slipping. So this whole mindset that I've got is basically based off a 305 mindset, making sure that I am not getting screwed over, that I'm not being misled, that I'm not getting bullshitted. It's real hard to talk slick to a can of oil. We've been saying that for a long time in Miami. And that's basically what the truth is that I tried to get all this information so I couldn't be misled. That's really what it was. I was sick of going into dispensaries and having somebody telling me this, and I had to go back and say, listen, what you just said to me was a lie, or just you're dumb. Let me tell you what you should have told me. And that's how I started getting they were like, oh shit, you know a lot. I'm like, yeah, I did the research. How the hell can you not have done the research when you're other side of the counter,
Bro, there's people out there like me, like I said, just, oh, it's weed. Like I'm the kind of guy, like if we first meet, very rarely do I find folks I smoke with. I'm a solo smoker up here. I've shared with y'all before. In order for me to learn how to roll, I shared with Bob, prior to learning how to actually roll a joint, I would take the blunt, the old school blunt, the Swisher Sweets. Now I'm on the Royal Hemps, the Royal blunts.
Nice.
And I would just squeeze all the tobacco out of it, but not split it. You know what I mean? I still got one in here to remember the struggle.
Oh, yeah.
I would split it. And I wouldn't even split it and take out the tobacco. I would do, like a lot of them cats taught me in the Navy to smoke Black and Milds.
Yeah.
Do that shit and loosen it up. Then I would just stand it up, man, and I would take it and I would just pack weed into it and make a fat ass blunt before I could actually roll. But I had to look it up, how to roll a blunt.
I was doing that with Black and Milds for a long time, man, because the Black and Mild, until I realized that the tobacco was actually the harshness that I was getting from all the smoke, and it was bad. And there's a cigar liner in there too. You got to pull out.
Yeah. And, I'm glad that I got off of that because folks were telling me get off the blunts. It still got tobacco in it. And, Bob, thanks, you know what I mean? Because he pushed me here, there too as well. And I found the Royal Blunt hemp wraps. I actually wrote a story about it, put that out there too. Going back to a lot of folks who don't know in the music industry, how many of you listen to UGK? Where do you think they got the motivation for their logo, Underground Kings? So, I wrote a little story about that because I came out of Texas. I'm a big time Underground Texas music fan, but passing the blunt to somebody else, I tell, oh, it's a hybrid, it's this, it's that. The motherfucker look at me crazy, like I don't care, it's weed.
Yeah, so
there's people out there that are like that, man. And then there's the whole totally scientific people like you that gotta know, what DNA strain planet it came from.
Right. Simon says Nevada gave a terpene profile, and he learned myrcene was an important indicator as which flower to buy. Now, myrcene is a terpene profile that you're going to find that it's basically there's a certain strains that have that profile, obviously, So what you're telling me right now is that you probably like anything that's got myrcene in it, which is I believe it's one of the pine profiles, if I'm not mistaken, because there's a few different there's a whole bunch of different terpene profiles that are out there right now, and it's hard to keep up with all of them if I'm being honest. But just in case someone needs to know. This is a little bit scientific. I got to get off of that.
My man Bobby says, he won't smoke blunts. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm real old school. Like I said, if you knew how long I had a BlackBerry phone before I went to smartphones, you'll know. Like people are like, oh, you should get bongs, you should do this. Now, I'll tell you, the real reason. And for one, like I said, hip hop culture. You know what I mean? The blunts is very heavy in hip hop culture. Like I said. UGK, I never knew it for years because I was in the Navy listening to these guys that they actually drew inspiration from the blunt logo to create their brand name logo, UGK Underground Kings. You know what I mean? So, but the biggest thing is, man, because it's a long, slow burn, man. And when I go in my garage, because I don't smoke in the house, that's how I get to do all my social listening and catch up with what the fuck, everybody's saying online about everything. And I'll follow, folks back up or make phone calls. So I make productive use of my time. And I just haven't found anything better. I'm not the kind of person I need to go out there and hit a bong for a couple of times and then come back in and I'm good.
Right.
Like for me, like we talked about, it's the whole behavior.
Yeah.
And it's the medicated, approach that you want to take to things, like breaking it down. Like that's very, therapeutic for me to know I'm breaking down the shit that I'm about to smoke. You know what I mean? Like Bob says, where it's coming from. Those things are important to me too. So it's just bigger than blunts, but I hear you, Bobby, everybody's got their deal. You know what I mean? But that's kind of my deal. I kind of use it and tweak it to my advantage, like, what Bob's doing over there with his.
Hey, man, the beautiful thing about being a head, the cannabis head, is, we've all got our rituals, man. Like when you're ready to smoke, that you feel good, you open that drawer, you pull out that tray, you know what I mean? And you start getting the feeling, you smell it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely a ritual. And anybody who doesn't really want to admit that is just lying to themselves, man. There's a lot of different rituals. And up until recently, I was pretty much doing the same thing you were doing. Only I was, if I didn't really feel like taking the 20 steps to my coffee grinder to grind it up, I was going to break it up with my hands. But I've been using my canister grinder for a long time since I did the review, and it's been amazing. I've probably got about 3 grams of keef just from grinding over the course of the time I've had it, man. It's insane. Now, what am I going to do with the keef? I don't know, man. I'm putting on a couple blunts or joints and stuff like that and enjoy it.
Bro, I've been seeing people post photos, man. They're like putting some crumbs or some shit on weed now, some flavor type of thing. I don't know if you noticed that, or is that a thing, or is this a one-off deal? There's like actually sprinkling some shit on their blunts. They're like, I got this and this, and it's like this long ass name, a bunch of shit. I'm like, what is that you putting on top of the weed?
It could very well be just sort of localized and crystallized terpenes that we're talking about. So if you happen to have a bud that sort of doesn't smell good or something like that, you want to up the flavor of it, you can add actual terpenes to it. Now, have I seen that? No, but I have to say to myself that there's a way that they can localize those terpenes and sell them. So they're probably doing that, because if you buy some of the pens that you smoke out of, you'll see that those have high terpene profiles. And there's a lot of times where they'll take the terpenes out during the production of it and then find a way to put it back in post-production so that you can taste it. Because what happens a lot of times when people are making hash is going through a butane process or possibly cold water. Whatever they're doing to make the hash could possibly kill the terpene profile of your bud. and then they find a way to reintroduce it by taking the terpenes from somewhere else and putting it. So that could easily be what they're doing, because I don't feel like they're, they could be adding, like Bobby's saying down there, maybe hash. It could be keef. It could be a lot.
I don't know. I'm in a couple of groups on Facebook. I think one's called Cannabis 420 TV, and they're real strict. They got their own, kind of like what we're doing at OET, with their creators. They got some network or something, I think, going on over there. And there's another group called Houston High Group.
I've seen that.
And they're both private, so you can get in there and get some weed type of stuff. You know what I mean? I still see what's crazy is Facebook put the suggested shit on my timeline, but then they're blocking us over here today. They're so hypocritical over there, you Mark Zuckerberg and your goons. You know what I mean?
Like, we still got to do our job, y'all. Sorry. Yeah. For folks that were asking about that particular myrcene terpene,
I'm gonna hop off. I'll get right back on.
Okay. The myrcene terpene is also found in thyme. It's found in mango. It's found in lemongrass, which is another sort of like a sweet spice. I know that we put it on some of the pork that we have in our restaurant, stuff like that. Granddaddy Purple, OG Kush, Cherry Pie. Those are strains that have the myrcene profile, terpene profile in it, just to give you an idea of what that is. I don't know a lot of folks who are, at least the mainstream, they're not really totally hip to all of that information, but eventually we're going to be talking about terpene profiles a lot more. Cause like I said, you're not going to be really hearing, sativa indica hybrid really anymore. It's really going towards that terpene profile, which I guess I'm cool with. I don't know. As long as cannabis is around, I'm fine with it. But at this time, I know that they're definitely going to try and go towards a terpene profile thing, which is fine with me. I love the taste of cannabis. I'm the kind of person, I've got a gigantic nose, a big Italian nose. I'm able to smell and taste. I've got a great palate, admittedly. And when it comes to cannabis, I can smell and taste a lot of things that a lot of folks out there who might be smoking might not actually be able to taste. It's just, I don't want to call myself refined in any way. I just want to say, no. Flavors and things like that. So I'm able to sort of break it up. That's why I have these strain spotlights on my YouTube channel, because I want people to see that there is a difference in some flavors and some buds and stuff like that. And I want to point that out. So that's the myrcene terpene profile that Simon was talking about. And he's right. Them skunk Philly blunts were the bomb back in the day, because back in the days, we didn't have, skunk weed was probably could probably have been 4 or 5 different kinds of bud. Obviously it was skunk, but there's a lot of hazes that smell skunky. It was just something that we called bud back then. But, Cypress Hill, man, you got to give them their props, man. Cypress Hill really turned that whole thing mainstream. Philly blunts are popular because of Cypress Hill. If you don't believe it, you're lying to yourself, man. And pre-98 Bubba Kush became massive because of them as well. So music and cannabis are been hand in hand for a long time, man.
Yeah, man, especially when you go back to Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. I'm reading this book, like I shared with you guys, Weed the People, by Robert, I can't remember his name, but anyway, they were talking about that, the ties of music, all the way to the Beatles, just everybody, you'd be surprised how, look at the hip hop industry now, how much cannabis has been woven into the fabric and the cultures of different genres of music.
Yeah, that's the truth, and it's something that you can't really deny. I mean, obviously, when we're talking about Pink Floyd, we could probably lean a little bit harder on LSD for their motivation and for their specific sound, for definitely. But then a lot of people don't know this either. The Beatles were the same way, man. Which is why you hear 2 different Beatles in the world. You hear the 50s love me do bullshit, which I can't stand, and then you've got the Sgt. Pepper real trippy shit when they started doing their acid and they started making
Yellow Submarine and shit.
Yeah, there's a big difference in the pot Beatles and the acid Beatles. Let me tell you right now. And I wasn't really a big fan until I had eaten some mushrooms. And my friend's like, "Here, put these on," and he played me like an hour of psychedelic Beatles, and I was like, "Damn, these guys are crazy, man! This just does not seem like the doo-wop bullshit I remember." So yeah, the substances and music have been hand in hand for a while. It opens up creativity. I know painters, people who are artists that smoke it just so that they can get creative, get some sort of creative energy from it. And they don't do it ever again. They go throughout their day and blah, blah, blah. It's not even a thought. But when they get ready to paint or they get ready to sculpt, they smoke because of the creative process it induces.
So I'll do. I'll smoke, and I'll come here and smoke, and I'll go in and cook dinner, or shit, that's what helped me, in 19. Was it 19? Yeah, before the pandemic hit. Those 3 months writing my book, man, I was up early at 6 a.m, man. I was blowing 3-4 blunts by noon I was just hammering away on the keyboard. You know what I mean? I had a goal for 11 weeks, 1 chapter a week, and man, I was like on the timeline. You know what I mean? So I definitely use it. I don't like to get high and just sit down and chill. You know what I mean? I like to get high and motherfucking medicate and then get to work. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's what keeps my focus and stuff now. Now I'm learning how to, I've got that down, like we said, diet right now and incorporate more exercise, you know, to really be able to maximize that and really break that stigma. Because a lot of folks, you know, that's that stigma. Oh, you smoke weed, get high, get your munchies and sit down. You know, that's just, you know, but really in a lot of aspects, yeah, but folks can figure out how to cheat code this shit. You know what I mean?
For sure. And there's a way, you know, and that definitely showed what you just said right now shows me you're a sativa person. You're a sativa or a hybrid person, because if you're using it for motivation, you certainly shouldn't be smoking indicas.
Well, again, I said I ran into some indicas. I mean, thanks to your influence, but you know, I try everything too because I don't know. Like I remember the first time I think I shared with you, the first time I smoked indica, that shit hit me and I hit the wall. Like I was like I was outside my garage, outside my buddy's garage. We were out there. They had the fire pit going, and you know, they was like, "This is the indica. I know you pay attention to different types of stuff." And I'm like, "Okay." But I didn't have any at the time, so I hit it. And after that, I'm like, man, I see what they say about in the couch. You know what I mean?
In the couch, yes, sir. Yeah. You get stuck there. Bobby Mack, I think you was it you were saying you were gonna? I think you told me you were gonna be out here. Yeah, Good Chemistry is about to get some sales next weekend, so Bobby McLean's gonna be out here in Denver. We should link up, Bobby, for real.
Yes, y'all link up, man, and get photos, man. That's got to be a must do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what about Starboy? Did Starboy come out there, or is that done already?
Oh, that's funny that you say that. I actually hit him up before he was supposed to be out here, and he told me that he decided to hell with it. He's going to just go to Dallas for the weekend.
Shit happens, you know what I mean?
He said that he was, I guess he was getting issues trying to change the flight or can't. I don't know what he was trying to do, whether it was cancel it or change it to a different city. But he was having issues with the airline or something like that. And
bro, it's stupid, man. The airline shit is stupid, bro. I mean, I give it to Alaska. Like I'm up here in Washington, you probably see Alaska a lot. But if you haven't seen the Alaska commercial, the safety dance.
Oh, yeah.
That is my 4-year-old's favorite fucking song. And because he's actually seen them, like we were on the plane here recently. And I was like getting some video. They were out there dancing. I was like, look at these. Like they're happy about their job. But little did I know after I seen the safety dance, they were just out there replicating what their company vibe was. You know what I mean? They literally got it down. Like if you don't wear a mask, you ain't flying with us. Why would you do that or something like? Yeah, something borrowed. What they say? Some old, some new, some borrowed, some blue. Man, they got a classic with that one over there. So, but Alaska is, you know what I mean? They're pretty good. But some of these other airlines, you've seen these videos of people in the masks and you know this foolishness, and then airlines, you know, they're like, I don't get it. You got to socially distance to walk in, but you're all packed like sardines in the plane. There's still so much uncertainty and things that are out there. So eventually we're gonna get out there. Maybe that's a good thing, Starboard. Maybe we all need to get out there at the same time. So maybe we need to look into that.
Obviously, he's smoking his last bud from Good Chem, the monkey business. Yeah, that's actually good, man. I did that. I got real baked off of that, man. Let me tell you, I don't know if y'all know this, but when I make my strain spotlights, when I record those, I record about 3 at a time. By the time I do my 3rd strain spotlight, I am fucking baked. And I basically have to try and find a way to not act baked because I'm basically going to
go. Just be you, man. Don't worry about that shit, man.
I'm going to run through a whole show and be like, oh, this is a great strain. I'm like, shit, all right, now I got to change my clothes so I don't look like I can get the whole recording thing at the same time.
There's people in a non-recreational, non-medical state right now looking at you, licking their chops like, I wish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, man, like when I was growing up, I wish I could go to California. They got everything out there. You know what I mean? The sun, the beach, the sidewalks, the skateboards, the dope.
Truth, man. You know, and I guess I really didn't have to live. I didn't have to have that kind of thought in my head. Like I wish I was in Cali because Miami, Florida was pretty much the same thing.
Dog, you were the other coast because I was wearing the hurricane shit, like the Playmaker, the Miami Hurricanes and them runs. Like I didn't know nothing about being loyal to the soil, none of that shit. I ain't had nobody showing me the way. But that was hot with the 2 Live Crew. Damn, band in the USA. Man, I'm telling you what, man. Luke and them, and I follow Luke on Facebook, man. He's really active over there. He's gotten down on the political side. He's done some work with the new vice president that's in office now, Kamala. So you know what I mean? Yeah, bro, you was on that coast over there, man. I was in the middle in Texas, bro. So we were looking at Florida. We were looking at Florida.
What's crazy is Luke don't even have shit to do with the 2 Live Crew anymore, man. He's not even part of it.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, they haven't done anything, right?
It wasn't really his, you know, Mr. Mix, who I'm actually in contact with on Facebook, and we got to hang out with. I
remember that. Yeah, you and your boy went out there, right?
Yeah, he's the dude, man. He's the one that started it, and then he sort of had Luke. Luke sort of became, I guess.
No, Luke had the business sense and the hustle and came in with the business acumen. You know,
Right.
I'm reading Pimp C's book right now, and I read Rick Ross's book. So a lot of these guys have been sharing a lot of gems about, especially in Rick Ross's book, because I wanted to see, was he really like a CEO? You know,
Right.
really that dude? Like, and then once you read his story, you really understand why, and then you see why the media does, folks. But I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, these guys are dropping gems in there about, you know what I mean, what was going on. But man, that was a time to be alive in the 90s, bro. Fucking the 2 Live Crew pushing the like, if it wasn't for Luke and the 2 Live Crew, bro, like freedom of speech amongst, you know, music rappers, bro, it'd be non-existent, man.
Yeah.
He's the one that challenged the stat quo and had it changed.
You know, it was right around that same time when the PMRC was attacking hard rock and heavy metal, and you know, the reason why we see parental advisory stickers is because of that whole hearing when a bunch of you know, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, all these people, including Chuck D and Luke, they all went to you know, to
Chuck D was woke before anybody knew what woke was.
Yeah, believe it or not, so was Flavor. But yeah, it's just one of those.
Yeah.
He was, you know, he was brought in to sort of be that hype, to be that Flavor Flav, and then he just wound up kind of being the face of it. They had Brother Marquise and Fresh Kid Ice there, obviously rapping. But those are the ones that were rapping. Luke was the one going, who, fuck, Navarro.
Bro, I was in high school in 92, 91. We was running out the basketball team. We ran out to motherfucking one of them songs. Shit, I can't remember which one was it. Not 2 Live Crew, obviously. You said, hell no, that wouldn't have flew. But Chuck D and them, Public Enemy, they just came out. You know, Can't Trust It and all that. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, no. You know what I mean? We didn't even know what that shit meant. We were just all saying that shit all day at school. No. We just ended up running out. You know what I mean? That's way old as fuck. You know what I mean? Chuck D, man, that dude been woke, bro, for a minute, man. You listen to his shit now. He's been saying that shit since the beginning.
Hold on 1 second.
He got to get his dog over there. I know that feeling. I had to make sure I can get everybody in the house straight before I got online too.
Oh man, Public Enemy, man. Let me tell you a little story about that, man. I was in Austin, Texas. I believe it was 1999, and I went and saw them at a little barbecue joint called Stubbs. I don't know if anybody's heard of Stubbs Barbecue. Stubbs Barbecue is they're famous for their barbecue sauce, but it's just a little tiny little barbecue joint in Austin, Texas, and they had a big backyard, and so they started throwing concerts out there. Who opened up for Public Enemy that night was some group I never heard of called the Black Eyed Peas, and it was just 3 dudes, pretty bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Where they were actually like a party crew. They were, you know, it was all about partying and shit. And I was like, damn, these guys are good. You know, Public Enemy comes on, blows his shit up, has a great set, and then I just see Flav and him just kind of walk right off and go and have go to the bar and start talking. And I'm like, shit, man. Everyone was leaving him alone. I'm like, fuck this, man. I got to go talk to Chuck. So I went up to Chuck and I was like, hey, man, what's up, Chuck? My name is Bob. You know, I grew up in Miami, Florida, listening to stuff. I wanted to thank you for teaching me about Black culture that my textbooks refused to teach me, because there's shit that I was learning from Public Enemy that I would go to my school and teach and say, hey, is this true? And they would be like, I cannot confirm nor deny that.
Yeah.
The curriculum they got to stick to. But
right.
If you look, man, I go, you do not know what you did for Black culture to white kids. You schooled them more than you will possibly even know. I've got white friends around me that have massive amount of knowledge of struggles of what Black culture was all about in the 60s, 50s, and shit like that because of your music. Had it not happened, there would have been no place we can go to find out about it. And we don't even know if it would have been legitimized if I could.
What'd he say?
You know, like, it was crazy, man. He's like, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I don't really know if he's fucking thankful or anything, but I just needed him to know that whether he wanted it to happen that way or not, you know, he was all about bringing Black culture together.
No, he understood the shit. He knew the media before everybody was hollering the media. Like because he came in the music game and figured that shit out quicker. Like some of these cats, like there's an actual video on YouTube now. Some dude actually wrote a paper and made a video. It's got, I don't know, maybe almost 1 million views on it. And it basically tells you how the music industry works and how an artist gets worked over into pennies. And you know what I mean? It's still happening out there right now. And that's because of the social media phenomenon. Like what we see people who stormed the Capitol that thought was real life and found out it's not real life. Well, it is real life because you're locked the fuck up now. It don't just happen on the internet. You know what I mean? So that's crazy, bro. It's a small fuck world, man. You met a lot of folks, man, in your fucking travels, man.
I had, and a lot of them were out in Austin. Believe it or not, Austin, Texas was bumping, man, in the 90s.
Bro, it's the middle of the country, bro.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun out there. But, like for him to say that, and understand, I just needed him to know that. I wanted him to know because I had just been saying it my whole life. Like, I'm learning from these fucking guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm learning from KRS-One, the KRS-Ones of the world, from the Rakims of the world, and trying to listen to their, and I don't know if you've noticed this, you get more of it off of their first album. And it takes the nations of millions and stuff like that. But those little high-pitched noises in the back, all that stuff, I don't know if anybody knows it. If you dig deep, and you'll find out about it, Chuck D knew very early about subliminal messaging. And he knew in order to make you listen to what he was saying, he had to make you ignore something in his songs. So
wow.
He threw those high-pitched whistles in there.
Motherfucking Chuck D, bro.
Yeah, man. He put those in there so that you ignore it. You had to find a way to
I was just always thinking, like, what madman motherfucker produced that? like all this shit. Like, and you're right, because I would be like, what is he saying? Because all that shit is going on in the background.
Right.
That's wild.
It forced you to listen to what he said. That was all Hank Shockley and the Bomb Squad, all those guys that were producing all the PE stuff, and Ice Cube's first solo album. When he left NWA, he went right over to Chuck D and that whole Kill It Will and Ice Cube got connected with the Nation of Islam too, and got a lot of woke, and that's why you see a lot of that people. I didn't ever know, because he was educating folks too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, basically everybody was, because they were just telling the stories of what they were experiencing in their environments. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I mean? White collar America figured out, oh well, we can pimp these and then war and drugs, all that shit. I write about that shit in my book, man, in Bulletproof, how to follow an artist before there was even an internet, man. You had to know when the magazine was published, on what day, what store it was going to be at, go get that bitch for everybody else, so that way you could be up on it. You know what I mean? Because there was no like and share button on social media. Tell me about it, man. You had to grind and hustle. Shit, it was just. I remember when I found out the hotel that the Cowboys stayed at in Irving, Texas. I remember finding that out, and that was like, don't tell anybody. Now I basically tell that to everybody. But back then, it was like, shut the F up, man. We might actually run into like Chad Hennings or some shit, and you don't want to mess all that up.
Yeah, bro.
Natasha Pearson joining. What is up? Thank you so much for hanging out. And I think I saw Sarah. Well, finally, good Lord. Sarah, let me ask you a question. I have two profiles of yours now. Did you make another profile and send
it? That's her, because I had to vet her out. You know what I mean? I get those occasionally too, and I gotta, figure out how am I gonna verify this person. You know what I mean? So, and she hit back. So they tripping, Facebook tripping still on everybody. But Sarah stay posting about weed over there too. You know what I mean? On her profile. So big ups to gang over there, and Tasha, the muscle up there in Peoria. I need to get at you. I got something I need to talk to you about, Tasha. We'll get offline.
It's all about focus, Natasha. You're damn right it is. Yeah. And again, like the music and cannabis, again, it goes back real far. And back then, I don't know if I was smoking as much as I do now, but because I probably wasn't. It was a little harder to get it back in the day before I moved to Colorado. But I was definitely smoking for real. And there was a lot of really good bud going through Austin, Texas back in the day. Obviously, it was that press bud, but it was all from Mexico, and it was banging, man. So every place I went in Austin, it was always smelling like weed. That was another thing I loved about it. And Austin and Denver are extremely close in terms of how the mindset is and how people act and how they react. The only problem is you got to deal with Texas cops out in Austin. You don't have to deal with that too much out here. But Sarah said
Austin has became, because I went out there for the home opener and then drove up to Dallas for the game. Very techish. They're like Silicon Valley 2.0 now. That South by Southwest shit is actually spawned into this tech revolution where now just look at, you see Tesla shutting down and moving to Texas. There's a reason why people are moving businesses to Texas.
That's actually
something. Laws and taxes for one, for businesses, and then for two, places like Austin now are becoming dubbed the nerd central, tech 2.0, the younger. It's very eccentric and very lively there now. I remember growing up there and going there, it was just 6th Street, you know what I mean? And then a bunch of fucking streets in the state buildings. And now it's all this arts and sparks and all this shit going on around in these places that are very cultured, you know what I mean? And, that's all. It's diversity down there to change now.
There was a party that happened every year in Austin, Texas called Eeyore's birthday. Eeyore is the donkey from Winnie the Pooh. And, so on his birthday, people would go to Zilker. I think it was Zilker Park, and they would go there. gigantic drum circles. Everybody's taking acid and mescaline, smoking, and it was crazy because I was like, how is everyone getting away with this in the middle of Texas? And it's just one of those things, man. It was a college. It's basically a college campus. The whole town. You said you've been there a lot. You know how small Austin is if you've been there.
It's all UT. Actually, we actually went in there and went to the pro shop at the stadium, and that was my first time ever. I've never been. Have I? I don't know. I've never been inside that stadium. It's amazing enough. I've grown up there and supported the Longhorns. But we went there, and then they've also got the stadium is actually dedicated to Veterans Memorial there. They got there. I got some video shot across there with the flags and all the names. Because Texas supports its veterans big time, so salute Texas out there. But yeah, we got to go into the it's all UT out there, man. You know what I mean? We went into the pro shop, and they actually had a Dak Prescott signed jersey up in that joint.
Damn, did it say hook 'em or anything on it, or it was just?
No, man, it was just there for sale. You know what I mean? Like I was like, look at this shit. I was like, no matter where you go, them boys are there.
Hey, but let me tell you, Austin, Texas is a Dallas Cowboys city. It's not a Houston Texans city.
Of course.
Not at all, because Austin and Houston sort of have a rivalry. Because I believe Houston, at least in my experience, is more of a bougie place, and Austin is where you go if you want a little bit of reality. Not to mention, it was the live music capital of the world. I was managing a band, Drifter. Shout out to Stoney Grantham and the guys, managing a lot of bands out there. So it was just a great time.
Austin City Limits, Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit. You know what I mean? Shout out ATX. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was great, man. And also there was a lot of crazy hip hop. Swisher House was real close to that, man. There was a lot of stuff popping off. And back then where it was, like you said, there's just a lot of culture, a lot of stuff happening, and it is blowing up. But even back then in 97, 98, it was called the mini Silicon Valley. And that was, and that it sort of blew up and then it died. And now it's kind of going back on the upswing. And even my wife was like, hey, everybody's moving to Austin. I'm like, that sucks. Because it was already too small. That city's already too small, man. So if you get, and I already know people that have been living in Austin a long time are like, do not move here, bro. We don't want you here.
The cost of living is, compared to where some folks are living like myself, it's enticing, but again, you got to look at your priorities. It ain't got it ain't legal yet there. So, we can remove that from the list for the time being. On
top of it too, it's an extremely competitive city, bro. If you're not on the cutting edge of what you are doing, you're going to get run over in that place, man.
Yeah, like I said, South by Southwest. You know what I mean? I never really followed that and understood that until I figured out, okay, then the music penetrated it. Now it's this tech revolution going on. Before the COVID, it's essentially what, people don't know what South by Southwest is. It's basically a get together there in Austin. And then they just got food and all this shit going on there with everybody being introduced to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a music.
Say, you probably know more about it. You can probably expound on it.
I worked it 2 years in a row.
There you go.
Yeah, it's
the man who's got experience in everything everywhere.
I know a little bit about a lot of stuff.
Right.
Back then, it was a privilege to be able to be selected to wear a South by Southwest badge and be able to kind of work. And really, by that, really all I was doing was helping the bands get their schedule, making sure they were getting off of the stage on time so that the next band could come on. Because during the course of the days, there was like 300 bands coming in and out of that city. And it was a little smaller back in the 2000s. It is just blown up over the last 10 years for sure. But back then, it was really all about a roots movement. It was more about having showcasing Austin, Texas, and Texas bands. And you would get other bands from different cities to fly in there because they were like, hell, we're a California band, but if we can't perform in South by Southwest, we won't get the exposure that we need in order to maybe get this record deal. So, like you said, man, it's 10 times crazier than that right now, which is unbelievable. 100% unbelievable, man. I had a lot of fun. It was a great musical city, but I also got into a lot of fucking trouble out there because,
bro, man, it was very potential, man, for everything out there, man. Austin, you can get a little bit of everything, you know what I mean? But on a real tip, man, I see what they call this shit cement shoes.
Yeah, because I can still see it's about 75% is still in your hand right now. I haven't seen you burn through half of it.
Man, I'm tell you what, boy, hey, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to get too cemented, if you know what I'm saying.
When I saw that name, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
He's messing with indicas now, but it's a 60-40, so you'll probably feel a little bit more heaviness on your forehead and your eyes as opposed to the other 40% from that sativa.
So, yeah, man, appreciate everybody sitting there watching around, man. Just throw me in traffic. I don't know what I'm going to get hit with next, you know what I mean? Y'all stay tuned. You know what I mean? We got live experimentation going on here, man. How many folks we got with us, man? Who's rocking with us on YouTube?
We are in not too many deep right now, but that's okay. We got Sarah, Natasha, Bobby, Simon, Andrew. That's pretty much it. But I think that has a lot to do with the fact that people are watching it through Facebook and they're not able not able to comment or they're just.
You know what I mean? That's where it's gonna have to be at, man. So we appreciate, man, 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean? The usual suspects always supporting us, man. Especially Tasha, man. Tasha been around since 2016, like much like yourself. You know what I mean? And us been on this journey together. You know what I mean? We got the real ones here, so we appreciate that.
100%. We definitely appreciate it. The support is beautiful, you know, and you know, we're all kind of in this together with this cannabis culture thing, and having everybody along supporting us has been a major thing for me. This is something that I didn't think I would be doing this a year ago. There's no way, man. You would have said you were on a podcast and be like, shut up, man. This is stupid. I'm not getting in front of the camera.
Shout out to the well, you said podcast, you know what I mean? You and your kid man over there, y'all doing that Casually Serious. I was watching a little bit of that shit, man. That's you know what I mean? I like what y'all got going on over here. Y'all need to make sure to check out Casually Serious. You know what I mean? Let them get the plug with y'all. Y'all know Ken been on the show before his boy out there in Florida, man. They got some potential over there.
Yeah, we're having some fun, man. It's been something that we've talked about for 25 years, man. He's got a great radio voice. That's something that people have always said about me, and I've always been able to sort of like just get my personality out there. I didn't want to do something where I felt like I had to do an act, and it's the same thing we're doing here. It's just sort of in a different way over there, and I think we're hitting a different audience with that particular show. But I appreciate it, man. You know, I'm just trying to get out there, man, and have everybody like. So I think I know who that.
Bro, y'all naturals at this shit, man. You know, like I said, the best thing you ever told me was like, man, won't you let somebody else do something? Let me drive a car. Like, man, look, you know what I mean? Like, best decision I could have ever made. You know what I mean? So, because I was feeling that pressure too. You know what I mean? Like, I love the Cowboys and all that other stuff, that circus. But man, look, you know, that should have had you depressed for real over there, fucking with that Cowboy shit. So. Yeah. You know, that's a big reason why I smoke what I do, but I still love my Cowboys at the same time. But you know what I mean? I'd rather come here because my first love is, you know what I mean, my veterans, because I hate to see what's been taking place in this country, especially when veterans have been involved. There's now a clear divide, you know what I'm saying? Now we've got, you know, folks who literally took the oath to protect this country are actually attacking this country, which to me is, I haven't been writing, man, because basically everything that's been going on, I just really been trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is going on in this country? You know what I mean? But all I can think is that, you know, there's change coming, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. So, you know what I mean? We just got to keep it pushing. And you know, I'm giving these folks 90 days on the books too, man. You know what I'm saying? They get their shit right. I'll be screaming at them too.
We're in a good position, man. I think the current administration is a little bit more in touch with the current heartbeat of the world. Again, I don't really want to get too high on the seesaw and try and figure out what side I'm taking. I'm just saying for Kamala Harris to be the person to turn the verbiage from marijuana to cannabis, you already got to know if our vice president is trying to change the verbiage of the word marijuana to cannabis, you got to know that they're on board with us right now.
Well, you gotta understand there's a lot of key folks being put as you see these. You know, I've never paid this much attention to politics, and reason being is because of the invested interest here with, you know, medical cannabis and what the potential it brings. Like you guys have heard me already say, one day there will be a day where veterans can walk into the VA and get a medical cannabis script. You know what I'm saying? And stop getting these funky ass pills, these opiates. You know what I mean? That are killing folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no medical record, you know what I mean, of folks dying from marijuana, but there's tons of medical record, you know what I mean, for folks dying from opioids. So, you know, I've planted my flag in the ground, and that's what it's about now. But man, it's you know what I mean, it's gonna come, you know what I mean, in the next 36 months. You know what I mean? That's what I'm predicting. Like the next 36 months, it's gonna be federally legal, and it's gonna be a totally different conversation here, man. So stick around with us.
Yeah, we already got our cement shoes in the ground, man. You know, everybody who's in here right now is is going to be in a pretty privileged position when it starts blowing up. All you guys that have been here and all you gals that have been here with us since day one, man, it's going to be big for all of us. And I appreciate everybody coming along with this. You know, it's sort of lit a fire under my ass, man. I'm looking for at least 2 more shows to do during the course of the week. I don't really know how I'm going to juggle 4 shows a week, but I'll figure that shit out. Because like I said, a year ago, you couldn't have got me in front of a camera. And now I've got all kinds of stuff around me. I got professional equipment, and because I just found something, I want to be able to get information out to people.
It's something it's something you love. It's something you really care about. Something you have a little passion for, like the Cowboys. But you know, so much more about this because of what it does for us as medicine, what it does for a community, what it means in terms of living and during a time of seeing prohibition being removed. Like that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To watch watch marijuana get turned legal after there's still people walking around saying that the devil's lettuce is bad for you. You know what I mean?
I can't imagine what my life would be like as a Dallas Cowboys fan if I didn't have cannabis.
Bro, I drank a lot before I smoked. I'll tell you, I drank a lot. You know what I mean? So shit.
Oh, shout out to Paul Howler, John Fattel, Eric Bisson. Those are the guys I got down with back in the 90s, man. We were always hanging out at my buddy Paul's house watching the game, and I would have to sneak out to his garage and not tell him and take that little metal pipe that I had and get it going on and go back in and make sure I didn't smell like it so his dad didn't trip if he happened to be there. But you know what, man? The Cowboys, they stress us out. They stress us out, man.
But it's also taught us to look more objectively at it and not be so delusional.
Right.
Now we know there's the delusional fans, there's the regular fans, and there's the folks that's woken up like us, like, we're not afraid to talk about our damn, team and our ownership or whatever, you know what I mean? And, you can do those types of things because there's a stigma out there. You can't do that shit online. Like, we've seen that. We've all grown through that here together at OAT and watched.
Yes, sir.
Shit transforms.
Well, hell, ladies and gentlemen, we got through the show pretty well. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I know that we weren't able to throw this to Facebook. I'm going to do a little bit of research after this is all over right now, because this is actually affecting not only this show, but my other show and possibly anything else we do in the from here on out, because, I created a page specifically for I've created for a lot of things. And now this is kind of fucking me up. So I appreciate everybody sticking around. We definitely appreciate everyone sticking around. We've got a lot of viewers dropping off right now because they probably know we're getting ready to sign off. But thanks so much for coming and hanging out, guys. We're going to try and find something to light y'all up with next week for Square Groupers. I just wanted to make sure today that we focused on some tolerance and how it affects you, how it affects your wallet. And, I'm on day 4 right now of not smoking. So I've already saved $112, I think, is pretty much what it comes out to, just by not having to, not dipping into my stash and burning it. You know what I mean?
And disciplined. I even have weed in your house and still disciplined. That's for something that big ups.
Yeah, I'm crazy like that, man. I don't know. That's just it's just one of those things.
It's inspiring, man. I don't think I could do it. I'll be like, after day 2, fuck that. That's what it's here for. That's what I'll be telling myself as I'm rolling it up.
It's crazy. I have to walk past it to get to my grow tent. You know what I mean? Like, I just walk past it and I'm like, this is all around me.
That just shows what you made of, man. That's just great discipline right there, man. So shit, I can't wait to hear you.
I appreciate it.
Like after Friday, you know what I mean? Appreciate everybody. Stick around, man. Y'all know what it is. Power goes where power flows. You know what I mean? And make sure if you're going to get some cement shoes, you know what I mean? You got a Snickers. You might not be going anywhere.
I got to try that now. I'm going to look around just for specifically for that strain, because I never heard of it. I'm going to have to try. I've smoked a lot of indica that's given me cement shoes. So try something actually called cement shoes. That would be pretty badass.
Yeah, man.
All right, y'all. Keep growing, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging out. I'll try and get this Facebook thing fixed. If it's not fixed, to hell with it, man. We're going to YouTube. So,
yes, sir.
Thanks for hanging out.
Like and subscribe. Make sure y'all share, man. We'll see y'all on the next square, baby.
Peace.
Don't be square.